In the early 90s, Yugoslavia printed this 10 billion dinar banknote, responding to inflation hitting 6.5 times 10 to the power of 108%. Life savings evaporated in hours. Money lost its purchasing power, rendering the currency worthless. When an individual mismanages their finances, they go broke. It's a personal catastrophe, but it's contained. This is the realm of microeconomics, how single households and businesses make choices with limited resources. Zooming out reveals a system where millions of individual decisions collide, creating massive, invisible currents that dictate the survival of nations. This is macroeconomics. To understand whether a country is thriving or headed for collapse, we must look past individual bank accounts and read the four main dials on its diagnostic dashboard: growth, jobs, prices, and trade. The first dial is economic growth. The macro goal is stability rather than raw speed. This requires balancing actual GDP, the growth happening right now, against potential GDP, the level of output a country can safely sustain without overheating. As this graph shows, economies naturally oscillate. They ride expansions up to a peak and then cool off into recessions, weaving back and forth across that straight, sustainable trend line. This is the business cycle. Expansions eventually hit a ceiling. When the financial system stretches too far, a peak can turn into a global slowdown in a matter of days, just as we saw during the 2008 financial crisis. Other times, the cycle is interrupted by something completely outside the financial system. In 2020, an external health shock froze economic activity overnight, proving that the cycle can be broken by non-financial triggers. Navigating the business cycle is about steering the economy carefully enough so that the inevitable drops don't plunge into catastrophic depressions. When the business cycle dips into a recession, the immediate fallout registers on our second dial: unemployment. As businesses contract, jobs disappear. Measuring this is complex. Governments often track claimant statistics, the number of people actively seeking benefits. However, standardized labor force surveys often reveal a broader group of people who are out of work but not captured in the official counts. Despite the political rhetoric, a healthy economy rarely targets 0% unemployment. A functioning market needs frictional unemployment, a small margin of people voluntarily moving between roles to allow industries to adapt. In a macroeconomic sense, joblessness is a mathematical symptom of where a nation currently sits on its growth cycle. The third dial measures prices. Looking back at Yugoslavia, we see the stakes of ignoring this metric. By 1994, denominations were escalating so rapidly that a 500,000 dinar note was printed just to keep up with the hourly change in the cost of goods. Prices generally break in two ways. The first is demand pull inflation. When an economy booms, too much money chases too few goods. Demand crushes supply, shooting the price gauge into the red. The second is cost push inflation. Sudden global shocks shrink the supply of goods, pushing prices up from the opposite direction. Inflation doesn't physically remove money from your wallet, it simply deletes the value of the cash sitting inside it. The final dial is trade, governed by the law of comparative advantage. Countries specialize in what they produce efficiently and trade for everything else. Even though frictionless trade is mathematically efficient, nations spend a significant amount of effort actively fighting against it. Governments use tariffs and quotas to protect infant domestic industries. By making foreign goods more expensive, they prevent local businesses from being crushed by cheaper imports. Global trade is a constant tug-of-war between mathematical efficiency and the political reality of protecting local livelihoods. This web represents a single closed circuit. Every adjustment to one node creates an immediate pull on the others. Pushing for maximum growth and full employment triggers demand pull inflation. Likewise, using tariffs to protect local jobs restricts cheap imports, causing consumer prices to spike. This is the reality of macroeconomics. It is the science of managing trade-offs, where fixing one problem frequently creates another. The next time a politician promises simultaneous record growth, zero inflation, and bulletproof trade borders, you'll know they are describing a mathematical impossibility.